ghouls and goblins. I am the Crypt Kezza. Woo! And welcome to the 2024 Your Move TCG Halloween Special. Woo! There are plenty of spooky things in today's meta. Endless snake eye matches. Body odor. I keep bringing it up because it's a big one. And expensive stables that will help recoup their value by winning you an extra booster pack each week for the next, I don't know, bajillion years. But this Halloween, I want to shine a spotlight, or more of a black light, on a most fiendish... Yeah, I'm not doing the voice. The most fiendish deck that is sending Palms North duelists to the graveyard. Woo! And that deck is Mimighoul. Piloted by Phil Brooks, member of your favourite band and mine, the Rising Tide, this deck has been topping locals every week since Rota dropped, and winning most of them. Gotta be something here. So grab your shovel and let's get to the bones of this Mimighoul monster. Woo! So let's jump into this Mimighoulish deck list. For those of you at home, you might be a little disappointed that this isn't a pure Mimighoul deck, but this is a list that's actually topping tournaments, and there's nothing spookier than that. So starting off, we've got 2 Kashtira Unicorn and 1 Kashtira Fenrir. Normally Fenrir would be like your main sort of Kashtira that you would go for, especially for its like ability to banish face-up cards. But that's not really the point here. You really want Unicorn here, Unicorn to search out the Kashtira Birth, and that way you can use it as like multiple monsters for a link summon. Special summon the Unicorn, search the Birth, link this off away later on in the turn, then use Birth to revive the Unicorn. You have an extra piece of link material here. Fenrir here is really just as a placeholder because you are running the Prime Planet Wraithsoth. I was looking at the Japanese name there and being, that's not right. Anyone else spelled burnt toast? We've got 1, 2 Fiendsmith Engravers here. So yeah, it runs the Fiendsmith engine. It's just 3 bodies. They are all fiends, so it is really a bit on brand. 1, 2, 3 Dimension Shifter. This deck doesn't really care about like whether cards are banished or go into the graveyard or not. And I feel a lot of rogue decks will be playing Dimension Shifter. So yeah, it's either this or play Mulch Armies, and believe me, I'd rather shell out for Dimension Shifters. I am part of the problem. But anyway, 3 Dimension Shifters here. We got 1 Mimighoul Master. This is the only card you care about going to the graveyard here, because this is the one that triggers all the Mimighouls on your opponent's turn by, during the main phase, flipping them face up. So if this gets banished, there's no real way to really get it back. We've got 3 Mimighoul Dragon. This is probably the more useful one out of all the main deck ones here. So flip, if it's the main phase, apply these effects in sequence. Destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls, except Mimighoul monsters. Hey, this is great, especially when you can do it on your opponent's turn with Mimighoul Master. And then you give control of this card to your opponents. So not only do you destroy their field if they're not Mimighouls, you get a monster back. This is great stuff. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in face down defense mode. That's how you get them to your opponent's side of the field, and most Mimighouls have this effect here. If this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can add 1 Mimighoul spell trap from your deck to your hand. This includes the all-important trap card here. This includes the field spell, which helps you recur everything each turn. So this is really good, as well as the Mimighoul Maker, which helps start your plays. Next up, we've got 1 Mimighoul Slime. If this is the main phase, apply these effects in sequence. Your opponent can special summon 1 Mimighoul monster from the deck to their field. It can be face up, it can be face down. It can help you get to the Mimighoul Master if that's what you're needing to start flicking off on your opponent's turn there. It doesn't have anything really special here, except if your opponent controls more monsters than you, you can special summon this card face up to your field, not just to your opponent's field. So this gives you like even more link fodder. We've got 1 Fabled Lorry, discarded, goes to the graveyard, special summon it. That's what you're using with Track to start your Fiendsmith plays there. 2 Mimighoul Fairy, this is one of the new cards from Rota as well. Flip, this turn you cannot activate the effects of monsters, special summon from your hand. This is really great, especially giving it to your opponents like not Fiendsmith monsters, giving it to a Snake Eyes opponent so they can't use cards like Poplar or anything like that. So that is really, really good, especially when it applies to your opponent because it's on their side of the field. So flipping it up, it applies to them, you get the monster back. Great stuff. Arcfiend, this one here is really the one that, it's got a few benefits. The biggest benefit is the one to be able to flip monsters on your opponent's side of the field. So your opponent draws a card, you send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So that means if it's flipped on your opponent's field, you draw a card, opponent discards. Then you give control of this card to your opponent, so you get your Arc Fiend back. If this card is normal summon or special summon, change one face down monster on the field to face up attack or defense mode. So if you've already given your opponent a Mimighoul, you can normal summon this or special summon it by some other ways, flip it up and start the effects going on your turn there. That's it. There's no real hand traps in this. I think Dimension Shifter really speaks for itself. But we've got Mimighoul Maker. This is a normal spell card. This is one of the ones that helps your effects. Well, it really gets your engine rolling. Reveal 2 flip monsters with different names from your deck, so don't have to be Mimighouls, but obviously you want them to be Mimighouls. In face down defense mode, and add the other to your hand. So your opponent randomly picks one, you give it to them, and you get the other one to your hand. Then you can special summon one Mimighoul monster from your hand. So you can special summon the one that they choose to give you. So yeah, even if you don't manage to give them the dragon, if you have dragon in your hand, you can special summon it, and you can get the benefit by searching the spell or trap. And it doesn't even have to be the one they choose for you from Mimighoul Maker. It can be another one from your hand that you've already got. We've got 1 triple tactic talents, because this guy's running triple tactics thrust. Got 2 Dark Ruler No More, because again, thrust target and it helps you go in second. Turn everything off, set up your board, and then start causing chaos on their turn. Terraforming, searching for your field spell, either Mimighoul Dungeon or the Pressured Planet Ratesoth. We've got 1 Fiendsmith Tract for our Fiendsmith Blaze. 3 Forbidden Droplets, because Droplet, good card, I guess. Birth to search off the Unicorn, give yourself extra Link Blaze. Mimighoul Dungeon, let's get down into the dungeons and not get locked up on its effect. Mimighoul monsters you control that were not normal summoned or special summoned this turn gain attack equal to the original defense. Let's think about that. So if you flip this on your opponent's turn, the dragon on your opponent's turn, and it comes back to your side of the field, during your next turn, that means that dragon is going to have 2500 attack on level 1. Brilliant stuff. You haven't seen that sort of thing since like Frogs and Wetlands, so that's really good. So, any player who controls a face-down monster cannot normal summon monsters. So if your opponent's got a really normal summon reliant deck, you can sit there and go off, activate stuff like your Mimighoul Room, give them 1, and if the field spell's up, they can't normal summon. Game over, Sword Soul. Well, I suppose if you're on Sword Soul, it's game over anyway. And during your main phase, you can add 1 Mimighoul monster from your deck or your graveyard to the hand. So yeah, really good. Helps recur everything back from your graveyard, it's great. 2 evenly matched, again, thrust target that just wipes boards, it's great, and then you can set up all your little dinky Mimighoul stuff. It's cool. 1 Mimighoul room, actually you'll find there are 2 there, 2 rooms, it's like a standard little bedsit, isn't it? Special summon 1 Mimighoul monster from your hand or deck to your field, or in face down defense mode to your opponent's field. So you either special summon it to your field, or face down to your opponent's side of the field. Then you can change 1 face-up monster on the field to face down defense mode. So this is great interruption. Give them a Mimighoul and then turn one of their monsters face down. Can't be used for link materials, that sort of thing. Really great. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target any number of Mimighoul cards you control, return them to the hand. So this is really good if you've got the room really loaded. You can sit there, banish it, reset all your Mimighouls back to your hand, ready to just go off again. Great stuff. And you can only use 1 effect return only once a turn, so you can use both effects in the same turn. It's really good. Onto the link monsters now, onto the extra deck here. We've got 1 Requiem, we've got 1 IP Mascarena, we have 1 Moon of the Closed Sky, 1 Fiendsmith Sequentia, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Access Code Talk, because this deck spits out a lot of monsters. Access Code Talk just means easy games, especially with everything being so small. We've got 1 Ensemble Robin for bouncing your opponent's special summon monsters back to the hand, and it also only requires 2 level 1 monsters, which all the Mimighouls are, well, except for Master. We've got the Assembled Nightingale there, we've got the Mimighoul Throne, this is a really cool card. Detach 1 material from the card, special summon a Mimighoul Master from your hand, deck, or graveyard, doesn't matter where it is, just choose it straight to the field. During the main phase quick effect, you can type 1 Mimighoul Master you control, equip this card to it as a spell that gives it 1000 attack. Then you can return cards from the field to the hand up to the number of materials this card had. So yeah, it's a free buff for your master, and it's also a free bounce as well that your opponent won't see coming. That's pretty good. Giant Mimighoul here, on non-Mimighoul XYZ monsters can attack directly, so that's really great. If they've lasted a turn and they've got like 2500 attack plus, that's coming straight for your face. That's good. And then if this card is XYZ summoned, add a Mimighoul card from your deck to your hand, so search any missing piece that you need. You need to detach material from this, then target face-up cards on the field up to the number of face-down monsters your opponent controls, destroy them, and burn for 1,000 damage. So there's your when you count in time. It's Giant Mimighoul. Give your opponent a face-down one, make this dude, blow it up, give him 1,000 damage. Fantastic. Down to Magician and Zeus there, because Ensembled Robin is going to be hitting directly. Put down it on top, put Zeus on top, just more materials, and then meaning Zeus wipes. One Wave High King Caesar, because what else are we going to be doing with Fiendsmith here? We've got one Necrocrypt Princess, again Fiendsmith, and one Desiree as well, because that's the last of the Fiendsmith, and it just gives you like a bit of an Omni negate, which is really cool. And woo, wasn't that spooky children blood? While my enthusiasm following may be running out, my enthusiasm for Mimighoul has actually picked up a little. It's a deck that plays very differently, and yeah, it's something that I actually kind of want to pick up, just low-key on the sly. Actually, I shouldn't say that out loud, because now everyone's going to charge me a premium to pick it up. Good one. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed that, guys. Have yourself a great Halloween, and remember, stay spooky. Woo! Say goodnight, Jonathan.